It's 1:47 a.m. You're laying in bed next to someone you've been seeing for 4 months. They're asleep. You're staring at the ceiling. And here's the thing, you like them, genuinely. There's nothing wrong with this situation, nothing alarm, nothing to explain. And yet, there's a part of you that has been quietly looking for the exit since about week 3. Not because you want to leave, because the possibility of leaving feels necessary to keep available. Like you can't breathe right with the door fully closed. If you're in that room, and more people have been in that room than will ever say so, this is what that's actually about. Here's what's strange about it. It doesn't happen with the people who treat you badly. The ones who leave you waiting. The ones who text back 2 days later with a lowercase hey. With those people, you're not looking for the exit. You're trying to get further in. It says specifically with the people who are actually there, the one who shows up. Those are the ones where something quietly contracts. And the obvious explanations don't hold up. It's not fear of commitment. You commit to other things. It's not low self-esteem. Some of the most confident people you know do this. And not being ready isn't an answer. Ready for what? Then I found something called Jung wrote. Not as relationship advice, as an observation with what the unconscious does when it senses that the gap between the version of you and the other people see and the version you actually are is about to be exposed. And he answered the question in a way nothing else had. Jung had this concept called the persona. The word comes from the Latin for mask. Jung used it for something almost everyone builds, a version of yourself for public consumption, the self that learn what to lead with, what to perform, what to keep just out of sight. The persona is not fake. The charm is real, the intelligence is real, the warmth is real. What's not real is the holiness. It's a selection, the portion of you that's easiest to love. Now here's where 2026 comes in. The talking stage, that undefined zone that now routinely lasts months before anyone names what's happening. Is the persona natural habitat? In talking stage, you're auditioning, both of you, showing up as the most compelling version of yourself. Nobody talks about their shadow in the talking stage. And for a lot of people, the anxiety that arises when something moves past that stage, when someone wants to actually call you their partner, that's not anxiety about the relationship. It's anxiety about exposure. The persona senses that the real self is about to be required, and the persona doesn't trust that the real self is enough. Let me say the part nobody talks about. The situationship, that thing everyone complains about and almost everyone pacifies in. It's not about dating apps, or commitment issues, or having too many options. The situationship is what happens when two personas try to get close without either one dropping the mask. The ambiguity is the protection. Both people stay safe from the thing that's actually scary in modern dating. Not rejection, being known and then rejected. That's the thing actually stopping you. Think about the last person you almost committed to. Not just dated, like enough that commitment was genuinely possible. And something not red flag, not deal breaker, something you had struggled to put into words stop it from going all the way. What would have had to happen for you to let it become real? I mean that as an actual question. Sit with it for a second, because the answer usually isn't about the other person. It's about what you have had to bring to the table that you weren't bringing. The version of you that fights, that admits when you're scared, that says I need something from you without writing the justification in your head first. That can be visibly struggling and not manage the other person's reaction to it. That version doesn't leave in the talking stage. It only shows up when the exit is generally closed. Jung's word for this was individuation. Not being vulnerable. That's the performance the persona can also learn. Individuation is stopping the active word or keeping the rest of yourself hidden. In practice, it looks like letting things get a little messy then feels comfortable. Saying the thing that's true before you've checked whether it's the right thing to say. Stopping the work of being easy to love. The person you're holding at arm's length right now is probably not the wrong person. Most of the time, it isn't about them at all. It's about the version of you that shows up is the whole one. You're not afraid of commitment. You're afraid of being known. Those are different fears, and only one of them can be fixed by finding the right person. The talking stage you are stuck in right now, what would you have to bring to the table for it to become something real? Tell me in the comments. Next week, why some people become completely different in relationships than they are everywhere else in their lives. You won't have a name for it. Subscribe. We go deeper every week.